Hey everyone, welcome to CrossGen Gaming, where I'm happy to announce that the console wars are over. Dylan, they're done. We did it. Xbox One.
Celebrate!
The Xbox One, we did it. Good job, Microsoft. Gold stars. Everyone, hey Nintendo, you're done. Reggie's scared. Not at E3. Sony, get out of here. We don't need all these cell processors. Too bad. You did a bad job.
Bye.
Xbox One. This comes courtesy of an article that says that the Xbox Series is Q1 2022's best-selling platform by dollars made.
Woo!
Cue the party. Here we go.
Let's
Woo!
go! Parades in the streets. Everyone's having a great time.
Everyone can stop arguing on Reddit now. We did it, guys.
You can shut up, please. Stop.
Finally. Okay. So. The quote from the article says, March 2022, quote, marked the most successful March for Microsoft in over a decade, as its previous best for units sold was set in 2011 when the Xbox 360 was still the latest available console. Its record March in terms of dollars made came in 2014 after the Xbox One was released. This info comes to us courtesy of our friends over at MPD, which just shows that it's a great time to be a Microsoft fan. Q1 of 2022 was obviously the best quarter for Microsoft in a really long time. Game Pass is crushing sales as of January 2022. They had 25 million subscribers. That's ridiculous.
So many.
It's so many. It's such a great value. I mean, I'm shocked that, they haven't raised the price. As Dunkey would say, the second that we recommend it, snake-ass Microsoft is going to raise the price on everybody.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it yet, so we'll see.
We're holding strong. Hold it strong for now.
Everybody. It's also inspired their competitors, mainly PlayStation, because let's be real, the Switch is not really a competitor.
Not in this case. No, not at all.
PlayStation is making its own version of Game Pass, which, we still don't know enough about, really. So we'll see.
It sounds fine. I guess we'll just have to see.
We'll have to see if they actually release some, actually good older games and care about their past like no one else but apparently Xbox does for some reason. Anyway, and apparently there's going to be a family plan launching for Game Pass in 2022, which means Dylan, you and me can finally share our Game Pass membership.
Yeah,
like the family that we are.
Yeah, that's the definite certain family. All right, yeah, that's pretty cool and all, but for 2022. The Switch took the first place in terms of units sold for quarter one of 2022.
Ooh, okay.
And not done. PS5 led the way earlier in the year.
Uh-oh.
So it's they're doing all right, but I mean that's not too bad. The Xbox doing good, unless it's Japan. Then we don't.
Yeah.
Just ignore Japan. Then Xbox is doing great.
Yeah, if we ignore Japan is historically not a great market for Xbox. So bad, in fact, that the Xbox has only sold 2.3 million consoles in Japan over 20 years. Guys, I don't think you understand how small that number is, okay? Think about the number of Xboxes ever. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series. All of those total, 2.3 million. Do you guys know how many Wii U's were sold in Japan? 3.3 million. It's sold. The Xbox brand has sold less than the Wii U in Japan. That's crazy.
That's the real damning comparison, because, it's
nuts.
2.3 million. That's a lot when you just think of it normally. But then you compare it to the modern definition of failure in console gaming, and you're like, oh.
As a Nintendo stan, I will say that was a rough time for us. To quote the article showing the number of consoles sold, of that total, 1.6 million were Xbox 360 sales, the firm's most popular console by a very significant margin. The console sales for each generation are as follows. The Xbox sold around 475,000 units. The 360 sold that 1.6 million, like we mentioned. The Xbox One sold 114,000 units. And so far, the Xbox Series has sold around 142,000 units. 114,000 units only? Oh my god, that's over 10 years, dude. That's insane. Oh man.
Hey, at least we can blame our favorite punching bag for Xbox on that. It's all good.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Don Matrick? Guess what? Play the clip now of Don Matrick saying what he said about if you don't want to play always online. Boom, right here.
It's a great line for games. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think people are going to love it, and then they're going to understand what we're trying to create and how it links games and entertainment, the functionality of the box, some of the advantages that you get of having a box that is designed
Right.
to use an online state. So that, to me, is a future-proof choice, and I think people could have arguably gone the other way if we didn't do it, and fortunately we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't.
But staying in Japan, the top 5 best-selling titles for the Xbox brand in Japan are as follows: Dead or Alive 3 with 271,000 units sold, Star Ocean 4: The Last Hope, 208,000, Tales of Vesperia, 204,000. Shouts out to Cat Paw. Blue Dragon, which I recently beat on stream, by the way, 203,000, and The Last Remnant on the Xbox 360 with 155,000 units. So essentially, Dylan, we got one booba game and 4 RPGs. Hey, guess
so
what?
funny.
Japan never changed.
They
It's
won't
exa-
ever
it's exactly, exactly what we thought. Revisiting that same article that shows the number of units sold as only being 2.3 million, they go on to say the console still lags behind Nintendo and Sony in terms of sales. The Switch has sold over 20 million units in Japan since its 2017 launch, and the PS5 has crossed the 1 million milestone. Okay, just again, perspective. 5 years, okay? 5 years ago, in 5 years, the Switch has sold 10 times more units
Yep.
than the entirety of the Xbox console brand, and the PS5, which has only been out for 2-ish years, almost, not even quite, 1.5,
Yeah, one and a half.
and it sold a third or a half of what.
Yeah, a half, not a third, a half. It's halfway there, and it's only taken a year, a little over a year. Oh my God, that's insane.
It's insane. Also worth noting that generally speaking, game sales are down due to ongoing shortages. Although, as we have been noticing recently in the GPU market, maybe this is a downward trend. Maybe we're actually going to be able to start buying all the cool stuff that we wanted to buy for the past 2 years, but haven't been able to. Dylan, you're going to be able to get actually upgrade your system.
Yeah, maybe.
You can play Destiny 2 in greater than 720p, 10 FPS.
All right, well, don't. Now you're just being mean. But yes.
But yes. Oh man. So hey Dylan, how do you feel about this? What's up with this? Are you mad that that your Xbox Series X is just it's not nearly as popular in Japan? What are these people like? Why are they only buying Tales of Vesperia and Kingdom Hearts? What are they doing?
I don't know how to handle it. But I mean, it's whatever, man. I think it's fine. I don't.
Whatever, man.
Whatever, man. I'm chill. I'm laid back. I wish this chair could recline, just to show you how chill and cool I am.
How much more chill can you be than Dylan? The answer is you can't.
You can't.
Checkmate, atheist.
Yeah, you'll never pass me. But I mean, in terms of the Xbox not being as crazy in Japan, it was surprising at first because I didn't even think about it. You don't think about most of that stuff because you just never really hear about it. But when you put it into the sort of perspective of, hey, it's sold less than the Wii U in its entirety, it really just makes you think they've done nothing.
Really puts things in perspective. Really puts things in perspective.
It's such a huge market. Japan is for Sony and Nintendo that it's just kind of strange to think that Xbox is not successful there, and I don't even really think they try to be, really.
So to put context to that, when they initially launched, the original Xbox launched, it flopped so bad in Japan, specifically because people thought that it was bulky. And it is kind of bulky, especially the original controller was ridiculous, which is why we actually got the Xbox. Gosh, everything is an X or an S in their world. But the original Xbox controller S, the small one
that exists,
is
oh my
because
God,
of
that's what it's called.
Oh no, it's that's what it's called. That exists because of Japan, and so that literally they were like, we need to make this for a market that is more in tune with this kind of controller, which is really interesting. But Dylan, with the Japan stuff on the side, it's really interesting to me that they actually made the most money this quarter compared to other consoles. Again, we mentioned that the Switch technically sold the most units, and that the PS5 was doing really well out of the gate in the beginning of 2022. But the fact that we're at the end of Q1 and looks like the Xbox did the best in terms of money made.
Reign supreme. Xbox reign supreme.
Xbox reign supreme until Don Matrick came in, ruined it.
Ooh,
Play that clip again right here. Play that clip again right
One
here.
more
of him.
time.
One more time. Roll it back, everybody.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
The fact that they were doing well enough to make that, to me, it signals that maybe some things are changing. Maybe we need to keep an eye on the old Xbox. Maybe Phil Spencer's actually doing what he needs to be doing. Maybe them spending $69 billion, nice, on Activision Blizzard, it's going to help them out.
Oh man, maybe Phil Spencer knows a bit about
Gamies.
Games.
But yeah, I don't know. You said it's kind of surprising, but I guess I don't follow the sales and all the numbers as closely. But I'm not that surprised that Xbox kind of at the top here, because I feel like everything I've heard recently in sort of the big console gaming news is like Xbox is making moves and Sony is not. So
Yeah, again, it seems like Sony is being very reactionary to what Microsoft is doing.
it really feels like it.
And it seems like what's also interesting though is that like Microsoft's also kind of not doing anything. That's what I find most fascinating is like the reality is, what's the biggest thing that Microsoft has done recently other than announcing they're buying Activision Blizzard and other developers? They haven't done anything other than Halo. That was last year.
I guess, but I don't know if it depends on how you define recent, but I feel like the whole Game Pass endeavor's been pretty big. That's a fairly recent kind of, it was a slow development, but it's really kind of became a big thing recently.
It's certainly a talking point at this point. Like we mentioned, it is something that its direct competitor Sony is actually looking to emulate.
Yeah, there we go again, reactionary.
They're being reactionary. How do you feel about a strong Microsoft in the gaming space? I think this is kind of signaling that maybe, original Xbox 360 Microsoft, retrace that. Xbox 360S Slim, Microsoft is back. They're back because that was when they were at their peak. We're talking Gears of War 2. We're talking Crackdown. This is, before Uncharted 2 came out, before Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, before Don Matrick was like, you know what? Screw video games. Let's make motion controls. That's the future.
Yeah! Follow Nintendo, those crazy coots.
Follow Nintendo. It's crazy how maybe being reactionary is not always the best idea. But anyway, back to my question. How do you feel about having a strong Microsoft in the games industry?
I mean, I think it's good. It's competition. That's how this crap, these companies and all this stuff works. Like one company doing really well basically forces their competition to also do well or do better than they are doing currently to meet or even surpass those standards, so they can take back that the God more. I'm losing the economic words.
The proverbial crown.
Yeah, that. So I think it's a good thing. And part of the people that are benefiting from this good and strong Microsoft are the consumers. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Right.
But
Consumers.
so we're benefiting from this, and I think it'll only get, in the grander sense, it'll only get better because now Sony, less so also Nintendo, will have to do a bit better, make some better things, do the things right for us so they can get more money. So it's good.
Because the reality is we will follow the trends of what gamers generally, big G gamers, us as a gaming community, will follow trends, and we will put our money where the good stuff is. Yeah. And again, a good example of being reactionary and having to do better is actually Microsoft and the Xbox. The Xbox Series is doing well because the Xbox One did so poorly compared to the PS4, and it kind of forced them to realize, oh, wait a minute, if we're going to survive in this industry, we need to actually keep up and, more importantly, innovate in ways that our competitors aren't. Hence Game Pass, hence the backwards compatibility program.
Yep.
And that came from them having to innovate and kind of grow against the dominance that was the PS4.
Yep. And Sony's gonna have to do as long as this trend keeps going, Sony's gonna have to do the exact same thing.
Well, it's interesting because like the last time that Sony was reactionary was back in the PS3. You know, like that was them realizing like, oh, we can't just do whatever we want. We actually have to innovate stuff. And you know, the reality is, if you go back and look at that console generation, I think a lot of people think that like, you know, excluding the Wii, because the Wii won that generation
By far.
by sheer numbers, it won. I don't want to hear anything about anything from anyone else being like, technically the Wii can't win because it wasn't competing. It did win. Shut up. It had the worst specs. I know. It won. It won. It won. The fact that it was in your grandma's like nursing home, it won. I'm over it. Anyway, but if you look at the numbers, a lot of people think that the Xbox 360 was the runner-up, but in fact, it was actually the PS3, and the PS3 kind of came from behind. And so, really, I think what happened with the PS4 is it was Sony realizing like, oh crap, we can't out of the gate shoot ourselves in the foot the way that we did with, you know, $699. Good gracious! Can we show the clip now of him saying $699 and the crowd just being silent right here? Boom.
$599.
But now, as the, you know, Sony, I think, is still running off the coattails of the PS4, and I think that they're kind of resting on their laurels a little bit too much, and that's bad for the industry because then people like there's less innovation and we don't see cool things change. I'm really happy that Microsoft is actually picking up a little bit of slack here and trying to take that number one spot back, at least in the West, because we've already talked about how they're going to have issues in the East. But if they can figure out a way to like incentivize people across the world to jump into their console and their console ecosystem, I think they're going to really be able to kind of take things going forward in a way that we last saw with the PS3.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's good. Here's the big thing though. What happens when everything's a subscription, Dylan? Is Game Pass and that kind of market like the future of gaming? Is that something that we're going to see? Is like, hey, if you're going to buy the Xbox, you only buy the Xbox and then you get Game Pass, and then you only buy a PlayStation to get, you know, PlayStation. What's it called?
I can only remember Spartacus.
Spartacus?
No, that's the project name. Spartacus is the project name, but I don't remember what it's actually called because Spartacus is a much cooler name.
Premium Play Plus.
PlayStation, yeah.
PlayStation, yeah.
There
Whatever
it
that is. Whatever that is. Again, like, are people going to buy consoles for the discs going forward?
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different question. Hold on.
That is a different question.
I'll say.
Right.
I'll say.
Let me rephrase. Is Game Pass the future?
I think it's the now. Whoa. I really do think it is. I think we're kind of already there because Game Pass has been around long enough, and now we really do have Sony's own version of it. Just like only. I can't remember if it's already released or it's coming really soon.
I don't think it's out yet.
I don't think so either. But either way,
and let me tell you something. If it's out already and I haven't heard about it, that bodes poorly.
That's a good point. But either way, it'll be here soon or whatever. And so that's here now. Nintendo might do something. Who knows? They're weird.
No way. Stop. No, let's leave it. Nintendo's never doing this. Ever.
You never know. They're weird.
I do.
They're crazy.
I do.
You
There's
never
no
know.
way.
That's why I said might. You never know.
No. The fact that they haven't released an official translation of Mother 3 yet, they'll never do it.
That's such a different thing.
No, it's not.
Oh my God, yes it is. It's completely different. Whatever. Shut up.
They're never gonna make a purely home console that competes on the same level as the PlayStation and Xbox ever again.
I agree. Never mind. Shut up. Point being, this subscription Game Pass, whatever crap you want to call it, I think that's here now. But I don't think, to kind of look at the question a different way, I don't think it's gonna be how the gaming industry stays. I think it'll be like that for a little while, and then there'll be something new coming along, something will screw up, whatever. Because I mean, literally just look at Netflix. As of very recent, it's been a big issue. Netflix has been kind of, I don't want to say dying, but it's not looking good for them.
But dying.
And Netflix was the big dog. They're the one that started this whole shebang. But, you know, however long it's been, Netflix is starting to decline. So it's going to happen for Game Pass. It's going to happen for whatever Spartacus is really called.
PlayStation Deluxe.
PlayStation, it'll go away. It'll go away.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be something along the lines of exactly what's happening in the streaming space, where there will be, in the reality is EA already kind of does their own thing with EA Play, and they're currently they're currently part of Game Pass. But I very much foresee them in the future saying, you know what, not anymore, and pulling out, doing their own thing. Ubisoft they tried.
Is it still going on? Because I remember you mentioning EA Play. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. I was like, oh yeah, Ubisoft did that, and it's stupid.
Yeah, Ubisoft did do that. It's really stupid, and people pay for it. I don't
Who?
Hey, if you listen, guys. Hey,
What do you
listen.
want?
Take a knee and come talk to me real quick. If you subscribe to whatever the Uplay Plus or whatever it is, can you leave a comment and let us know why? Just tell us what was the thing about that influenced you to purchase it, because I, for one, cannot really fathom it.
I see no reason. And if the reason is because Assassin's Creed, we're here to help you. It's okay.
Listen, we are nothing if not an Assassin's Creed help group. We will help you get past Assassin's Creed. It's fine. We still love you. We still love you. You can leave a comment about how much you love Assassin's Creed, and we'll tell you you're wrong, and that's okay. That's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
If you need help, just call this number right here. We'll be there for you.
I won't, but he will.
I will.
Yeah, but anyway, I do think that the reality is there's going to be all these different subscription services eventually, and people are going to get really tired of paying a monthly subscription for access to a library of games that they will never play. I used to have Game Pass Ultimate, and I'm no longer paying for it because the reality is I don't need it. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. Again, this is the gaming closet back here, but I'm never ever going to play through all the games in Game Pass in a timely manner. But I do know a lot of people who use it frequently. They love it. It is their primary way of playing video games, and I'm really happy that it exists as a very accessible option for a lot of people. But I do foresee in the future there being way too many of them, and people just, the market will get saturated in a way that's not good, and Microsoft will have to pivot. Sony will pivot. Nintendo will be in the background just doing cartwheels.
Whoa!
and walking up and saying this is a Kirby. And you're
like,
what is a Kirby? And they're like, but it's Kirby. And you're like, I get it.
Wait, where are you going? Come back. What does this mean?
Give me 10, Nintendo. I need it.
Nintendo's just those crazy goots.
They just walk up and they just drop a Kirby amiibo and walk away. And you're like, what does it mean?
They start praying to it, bowing down to the Kirby amiibo. Praise be! The gods have given us gold!
And then Sony's in the corner just trying to get Tetsuya Nomura to not make his own studio.
Tetsuya Nomura's like, I want to be that. I want to be that god. I want to give him Kingdom Hearts 3 and everyone sings their praise. I want them praying to me!
Now listen, that's the problem, is he wants them praying to him. That's the problem, is he wants them to actually give him the praise. Look at my amazing stories and my characters, my androgynous characters with spiky hair.
Why isn't there always intense discourse on Twitter about my games? Give it to me.
It's between crazy people and non-crazy people.
But that's just our thoughts and opinions. What are your thoughts and opinions? We'd love to hear them down in the fun old comments below.
And be civil, but also please let us know why you bought Uplay Plus. I don't understand.
We really want to know. We are genuinely confused.
I'm so confused by it.
But if you want to see more of us in our own little individual things, you can find me at Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at The Dylan Machine in the fancy little text, maybe new little animation down there.
Is it going to be a lower third?
Yeah, that's what it's called. I don't know. If it's not, shout at future me. I hate me.
I will probably do that.
You will.
I will do that.
Where can they find you, John?
Hold on. Do they hate?
Damn it.
Do you hate future? Do you hate future you or past you more?
Past me.
Same.
I hate him.
I hate past you also.
Aw.
You can find me over at Twitch when I stream Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Twitch.tv/thegreatyuke. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. I've killed Dylan. Dylan died.
All right, go on. Finish it. Finish
I
it.
stream Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's real fun time. I play a lot of random games, again, normally from the game closet or with some friends of mine. You should check it out. Twitch.tv/thegreatyuke.
We'll see you in the next generation.
See you guys.